My name is Nicole Kontolefa, and I am here in Moscow doing the production of I Am Me by Alexandra Chichkanova in Russian, so that would be Ya, это я, by, I don't know how to say that in Russian, Alexandra Chichkanova. I am part of Studio 6 Theater Company, and that is a group of Americans that studied at the Moscow Art Theater School. We studied there for the full 4 years, and then we started a theater we called Studio 6 because we're the 6th studio to come out of the school system. This is a one-person show, so it is only me of the company in it. We're based in New York, and I first did this play in English in Brooklyn, in Prospect Heights. It's a monologue, and it talks about a walk, so I figured that it would be fun to actually take people for a walk, and it was a beautiful fall in New York, so it worked out well. When I was invited to this festival as the new play project at the Golden Mask, they said it's cold in Moscow in March. I said I know. And they said that we can give you this big cultural center, which used to be a car factory and is now a home for dance students, libraries, everything. There's free Wi-Fi, it's great. So I said, that's great. I don't need any of the theaters. I just want the hallways and the stairwells and the libraries. So I just had my first run through with audience members, and it went, I think, well. I remembered all of the words in Russian. And it worked out actually really well to have a library and just to be indoors. The space kind of grew, or the piece grew into the space. The play sort of, it's like a faux, like caulk, fills whatever space.
I have to add while you're talking about that you danced into a dance class and forced the dance class to quit working while you finished up your show. Now that was cool, Nicole.
Yes, they won't be there tomorrow, but now I feel bad because I was like, oh, this makes my like dancing motif make more sense that there's a dance class, because normally it's just because I want to dance. But yes, so I think in New York City, immersive theater is really hot right now, and this is a form of immersive theater, but it was very much also inspired by my training here in Moscow and this idea of ensemble and partner work. It's kind of what I was trained really hardcore in here, and what made me sort of afraid to do the piece at first, because it's a one-person show, and I thought that meant I have to stand on a stage and talk at people, and that seemed, well, scary and quite possibly boring. So I decided to make the audience my ensemble, my partners, and think of the same ways that we would try to kind of create like spontaneous experience with each other in acting classes through games and unplanned stuff. To like add that layer onto the piece and hopefully then be able to elicit natural, organic feelings in the audience members that weren't necessarily fed to them by my emotions or my words that I'm saying, but actually by something that's happening physically to them or around them.
I'd like you to say just a couple of words about the author, about Alexandra Chichkanova, if you would.
Yes, Alexandra, I never knew personally, but I did. So I found her play in 2006, right after John Freedman, I guess, translated it on some website. And I immediately, like when you meet an old friend, or when you meet a new person that feels like an old friend, this play I understood something about it. Maybe not all of it, but it touched me immediately. And I just kind of put it away though, because I was afraid. I didn't think, again, like ensemble theater, we're a big theater company, why would I do a one-person show? And finally, some years later, I contacted John Freedman about wanting to do it. And I spoke to it, I found a director, and I gave him the play and was like, is this a play that's interesting? Like, or is it just me that I love this woman's writing? And John then put me in touch with Alexandra, and we wrote back and forth a little bit, and she told me this wonderful thing about the play. She said, let me try to translate and remember it. The play is about loneliness and about how you have to cherish every moment and how we are at the same time this tiny, insignificant thing in a huge universe, yet very important, huge to ourselves and to those around us, and how we are each little soul. She said, "Little soul is its own universe," and I was like, "Yeah, that is what this play is about. I agree, and that's what life is, isn't it?" So then I didn't do it. I still didn't do it, and I was scared. I ended up coming to Moscow to do another big show, and things just that the director I was working with moved to New Orleans, and I just kind of got put again on the back burner where I had been living for several years. And then John Freedman sent me an email in November of 2012 that she had, I'm going to cry, that she had killed herself. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I just did the play, so I'm like very, kind of like primed. And anyway, so that was my reaction on the street actually, when I read it. And I felt really, I mean, obviously bad for what she did. And maybe selfishly, sort of like what, the opportunity I lost to kind of like work with her on it. Felt really like self-pitying also, as well as the situation. And I realized that I was being like scared for some reason, but not a good reason, and decided to do it in 2013. I never give myself a resolution, but for 2013 I did, and I did it. By the fall, 9 months later, I was performing it in Brooklyn for audiences.
And I want to say it's a very funny show.
Yes, that's the thing. I'm like crying.
It's a very funny show.
Hilarious.
It's a very life-affirming, funny show.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. There's no like self-pitying here, or like, oh, life is so hard. It's all about just, you know, how to live in your own skin, and how like other people are hilarious and weird, and how you're weird, and it's like the movies, but it's also not like the movies at all. It's about who you are, your relationship with yourself.